Hey, this is Liz, and you're listening to the SouthCack Syndicate Podcast.
But it's funny we talk about being, that was an entrepreneur. The pencils, the Coke and candy bars, the paper route. And it's funny, there's always been entrepreneurs since day one of building America, right? But entrepreneurship was not cool.
It wasn't even, I don't even know there was a name for it that people used.
Yeah, I'm just doing it by myself.
Yeah.
Or I'm just, there was no terminology like startup, entrepreneur,
that's right,
hustle, side gig. It was you did or you didn't.
Yeah, and if you did that kind of stuff, you're actually looked down on a little bit, especially if you're older.
Who made entrepreneurship cool?
Oh, Gary Vee.
Was it?
Well,
because it was cool before.
It was cool before in small channels, but I think he brought it to the forefront where everybody felt like they wanted to be that.
Maybe.
And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing because not everybody's cut out for it. But the good lesson, I think, with like what we went through in school was that we figured out that all business is about the margin in between what you buy and what you sell. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what it is.
That's right.
And some deals kind of work differently. Real estate, for example, you're not really paying for it yourself. Mm-hmm. Most of the time it's, you're borrowing from the bank and then you're basically letting somebody else pay for it for you. And then you're taking a little piece off top of that if you do it right. Mm-hmm. So everything, you could literally boil down any business to your pencil business.
Yeah.
I buy in bulk here. I sell them one at a time for a little bit of margin, right?
Profit margin, none of that was in my head. It was like I paid 10 cents. I need at least 15. I need to make a little, but I don't know that I ever sat down actually and I never papered anything out. The first memory I have of that, I grew up on a farm, and for my birthday one year, my dad gave me a cow.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't have to pay it. At that time, the cow might have been worth $800. I don't know.
Somebody else is feeding it.
So this was at our farm. And so Dad said, I'm going to give you a cow, but I'm going to make you hold a ledger. Like, I'm going to tell you what my feed costs are, what my time is to take care of your cow, and then we're going to deduct, because you're going to pay me to do that. And then whenever you're ready, when it could be next week or 6 months from now, whenever you're ready, we're going to sell that cow. Then at the end of the day, we're going to look at your numbers.
See if you're in the red or the black.
Yeah. Well, then I figured out that the cow could have another cow.
Oh. See, yes.
And so my cow had a baby cow, right? So my cow turned 100% profit right off the bat, right? And had a calf. And that was the business.
I
was hooked.
That was
so
the thing.
to speak.
And see, and I think everybody needs to experience it. I think that's part of the problem with the young kids now is that they're not necessarily learning that. There's a level of thinking that has to happen in that process that is kind of outside the box, right? And if all you're taught is in the box, sometimes kids miss out on that. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you fix that. I don't know.
It starts with parenting.
Maybe so, but not. Some parents aren't that themselves. They're not.
Then it starts with your own research, right? Because I think that there is a responsibility of parents. I'm not saying that every parent has to build a new entrepreneur. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is there's a responsibility for parents to say, have you thought about this?
Yeah. Well,
or what about this?
Educate the ways of the world.
Right.
Whether they use them or not, at least know how things work. Mm-hmm. That's like Lawton, me and her talk about her new bank account and this, that, and the other thing. And I get into those conversations like, what does the bank do with your money when you give it to them? Mm-hmm. Because most people don't even think about it. They just...
What is your savings account actually earning every year?
Yeah, not necessarily earning, because that's a numbers game, which is easier to teach. But like,
how old is Lawton now?
She's 16.
Gotcha.
So like, when you give them $100, what happens with $100? Does it sit in a little vault that has Lawton on it?
Oh, I see.
They put an envelope. Like, I want them to think, because it's not something that most people would think about.
That's right.
She's like, I don't know what they do with it.
Well, they lend it to other people for way more money than they're paying you to have it.
That's right. I said, you give them $100, they give it to somebody else, and they charge that person for that money.